The vastly popular SUV market is about to get even better in 2026 with these 8 exciting options that are coming your way. We're starting this list with a market leader, as no list of SUVs would be complete without the Toyota RAV4. Only this time, it's the all-new 2026 version. The new 6th generation model will not only bring a fresh, chiseled new design, but also updated tech and improved mechanicals. There are rumors of there being even more emphasis on the hybrids, meaning that we won't be surprised if Toyota decides to go hybrid only with the new RAV4, as it has with the Camry midsize sedan. In fact, we expect the RAV4 to share the Camry's gas-electric drivetrain. In the sedan, the setup uses a 2.5-liter inline-four gas engine and produces a total output of 224 horsepower with front-wheel drive and 232 horsepower with the optional all-wheel drive system that adds an electric motor to power the rear wheels. The RAV4 Plug-In Hybrid, previously known as the RAV4 Prime, should also continue, and we hope it'll offer the same invigorating performance as the current model, which has 302 horsepower and offers surprisingly quick acceleration for a mid-level SUV. The new RAV4 will be based on the latest version of Toyota's TNGA platform that's used for most models in the automaker's lineup. The RAV4 specifically uses the TNGA K version. Based on what we've seen so far, Toyota has managed to improve the looks of the already well-designed outgoing RAV4 with this new 2026 version. It'll look relatively similar, but with some of the angular edges smoothed off to give a more modern and premium presence. The side profile looks more squared off than before, producing a more vertical D-pillar than the outgoing 2025 model, which should allow for increased cargo space behind the second row. There shouldn't be any wild changes in pricing, so you can expect to be able to pick up a 2026 RAV4 for around $30,000 to $33,000. Both the Hyundai Palisade and the Kia Telluride are affordable, 3-row midsize SUV models that share a set of mechanical components but wear distinct sheet metal and target unique lifestyles. Whilst kinda being like cousins, Hyundai positions the Palisade as a more premium crossover, while the Telluride appeals to buyers wanting something more practical, whilst still offering a pleasant drive in the process. The exciting part is that both models are being redesigned for 26, entering their 2nd generation after the current versions were launched in 2020. Since then, both the Palisade and the Telluride have been massively popular, with Kia selling over 115,000 units in the US in 2024 alone. However, the 2nd generations are coming soon with a fresh redesign. The Palisade and Telluride share a unibody platform that's expected to continue for the next generation models. Hyundai's already revealed the 2026 Palisade's new design, which uses a more square design language with prominent lighting. The interior will also get a revamp, with Hyundai aiming for a premiumized feel in the cabin. Kia hasn't shown off the new Telluride yet, but we expect it to break cover soon. Currently, both SUVs get the same 3.8-liter V6 engine and 8-speed automatic, with either front or all-wheel drive. This combination has proved to be a nice blend of comfort and power, suitable for casual driving that typical family crossovers usually experience. While we think it wouldn't be such a bad move to keep this tradition alive with the next generation models, there's a good chance that we'll see a move to a turbocharged 4-cylinder and even a hybrid option this time. Whilst both the Palisade and Telluride lagged behind the Ford Explorer, Honda Pilot, and even the Jeep Grand Cherokee, in 2024 they put up quite a fight, which puts the refreshed and even better versions in a good place. It's not 100% clear on what the prices will be just yet. We expect that since the new Palisade has already been revealed, it'll likely be launched first, with pre-orders starting as soon as 2025. The new Telluride is sure to follow shortly after. You shouldn't have to pay a huge amount more than the outgoing 2025 models, which start at around $38,000 and top out at about $55,000. This next one is arguably the most intriguing and somewhat ridiculous option, the all-new Chevrolet Corvette SUV. That's right, Uncle Sam's answer to Ferrari, but on stilts. Whilst nothing is 100% confirmed, the new Corvette SUV is expected to feature a variety of engines, ranging from the standard turbocharged 4-cylinder that's likely to have around 300 horsepower, all the way up to a classic 6.2-liter V8 exceeding 500 horsepower that's synonymous with the name Corvette. Perhaps Cadillac's 682 horsepower V8 powering the Escalade 5 would do the trick. Carbon ceramic brakes and tires wide enough to remind everyone in the parking lot that this SUV means business. With Chevy being owned by GM, the new Corvette SUV will likely ride on the popular Alpha platform, used by multiple Cadillacs as well as the Camaro. This platform could indicate that it could be offered as two options, similar to Porsche's Macan and Cayenne or BMW's X3 and X5. It's certainly an exciting prospect, albeit likely not as flashy as a Lamborghini Urus, but likely much cheaper with an estimated starting price of $60,000-ish. Our next SUV is not a brand new concept like the Corvette, however, it is an all-new version. The 2026 Subaru Outback is just around the corner. Now, whilst Outback has always sat on the fence between station wagon and SUV, the striking new exterior design is definitely a modern upgrade on the previous version, and certainly pushes it even more towards the SUV category. Typical of Japanese designs, you'll notice that the new Outback maintains the blend of square and boxy with sharp angles, and frankly, it looks great. This new Outback couldn't come soon enough because despite it being a top seller for Subaru, sales have declined in recent years, potentially being cannibalized by the smaller Subaru models, such as the Forester and the Crosstrek. This new version should help reignite sales and draw Subaru fans back to the Outback. Subaru's global platform, or GPD, is only around 8 or 9 years old and currently underpins most of the automaker's US products, from the larger Ascent to the smaller Impreza. So despite this being a new version, it's unlikely that the new 2026 Outback will move away from the proven platform, regardless of any powertrain or sheet metal changes. Speaking of powertrain, a hybrid powertrain is almost guaranteed, even if just as an option. The 2026 Forester is on track to get a hybrid setup, so it would be a fair guess to expect one in the new Outback too. Otherwise, we expect to see a return of the respected Flat 4, both in naturally aspirated and turbocharged form. The 182 horsepower 2.5-liter and 260 horsepower turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinders found in the current Outback are likely candidates. But Subaru has a history of applying incremental tweaks to keep things fresh. The naturally aspirated engine offers good reliability, so it wouldn't be the worst thing. Standard all-wheel drive is a sure bet across the board. After all, it is Subaru. We expect the updated 2026 Outback to make its debut in late 2025. The current price for the outgoing model sits at around $30,500, so the 2026 version shouldn't be too far off that number, perhaps around $32,000 to $34,000. Much like the Corvette from earlier, the next SUV on this list is also brand new. Introducing the 2026 GV90, the new flagship model from Hyundai's premium arm Genesis. Your first question may be, what even is the GV90? Well, think Rolls-Royce Cullinan or Bentley Bentayga on a budget. This new 3-row SUV will be the biggest and most premium ever built by Genesis, taking inspiration from the already striking design of the existing flagship G90 sedan. In addition to it being luxurious, the new GV90 will also serve as a flagship vehicle for tech moving forward, as Hyundai and Genesis as it scales up. It goes without saying that you can expect to see Hyundai's latest operating system and connectivity tech. Much like the Hyundai Ioniq 9, the GV90 is expected to feature dual 12.3-inch clusters and infotainment screens in a panoramic curved display to enhance the immersive experience that you'd expect from a luxury vehicle. Whilst nothing has been officially launched yet, GV90 maintains much of its design based on the concept. From the back, it almost looks like the GV70 electrified, but you can tell it's even larger. Genesis kept other design elements like the connected rear lights and bumper design shown in the concept. With the way that most manufacturers are heading, it's no surprise that the GV90 is an EV SUV, veering away from the gasoline-powered G90. This new luxury-focused SUV will be underpinned by the eGMP architecture shared with the automaker's most recent electrified efforts, such as the Genesis GV60, Hyundai Ioniq 6, and the Kia EV9. We expect air springs and electronically controlled dampers to complement the cabin's peacefulness. When it comes to the powertrain, we're not expecting any magical surprises. In fact, the GV90 will likely use the same motors that propel the electrified GV70, one on each axle, for a maximum combined output that's just shy of 500 horsepower. Expect the GV90 to use the 87.2 kilowatt-hour battery from the electrified G80, which could offer around 250 miles of range, reasonable for a large luxury SUV. However, top-trim GV90s may feature a larger battery for increased range. The GV90 is expected to be unveiled in 2025, with production beginning sometime in early 2026. Pricing is estimated to start at around $90,000 for the lower trim, climbing all the way up to as much as $160,000 for the exclusive trim, which will feature the luxury features, such as the coach doors seen on the concept. I guess we'll have to wait and see if buyers are willing to pay this. Moving on to an American competitor to the Toyota RAV4, we have the new 2026 Jeep Cherokee Hybrid. Though it may or may not use the controversial Cherokee nameplate, Jeep's upcoming compact SUV contender will retain the essence of its predecessor. As such, expect the model to bridge the gap between the smaller Compass and the larger Grand Cherokee. Though Jeep's Cherokee successor will not pack the off-road capability of the esteemed Wrangler, it will almost certainly provide at least one off-tarmac-focused trim bearing the trail-rated badge that Jeep pins to its most capable models. The Cherokee's successor will enter the market with gas-electric power. Expect the front-drive models to use Stellantis' eDCT hybrid system, which mates an electric motor and dual-clutch automatic transmission with a small displacement engine. In the Compass and Renegade e-hybrids sold elsewhere, Jeep relies on a 130 horsepower 1.5-liter four-cylinder to serve as the gas-powered part of this hybrid equation. However, it's a fair bet that Jeep will opt for a larger and more powerful gasoline engine to better meet the needs of most American consumers. All-wheel drive models will likely adopt a plug-in hybrid powertrain and in turn don the 4xe badge. With its larger capacity battery pack and more powerful electric motor, 4xe variants of this new Jeep will pack a greater peak combined power figure than front-wheel drive ones. Depending on the market demands, strictly gas or battery-powered versions of Jeep's Cherokee Air may arrive in later years. You can expect the Cherokee replacement to use the same STLA large underpinnings as the battery-powered Wagoneer S and Recon. Like its EV kin, the hybrid Jeep is due to roll off the line in Stellantis' Toluca, Mexico plant. Rivian has become a household name when it comes to EVs, especially as their lineup continues to expand. Whilst the larger R1S and R1T have been popular with a starting price of $70,000, they're too expensive for most buyers. Welcome the new Rivian R3X. The new Rivian R3X offers buyers a more compact but capable SUV perfect for adventures. Joining it on that list will be the subcompact R3 and compact R2 set to slot in beneath the R1T pickup and the R1S SUV. The R2 will essentially be a downsized R1S, but the real attraction is the R3 and the sporty R3X, which resemble raised hatchbacks with retro styling and bring a more affordable option to Rivian's ever-growing range. Both the R3 and R2 models will use a new platform for small to mid-size vehicles that will accommodate two different sized battery packs. Rivian has stated the single-motor versions of the R2 with the larger battery should give at least 300 miles of range, so we'd expect the smaller R3 to travel even further. The R3 and R2 should offer both a rear-wheel drive single-motor variant and a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup. But the high-performance R3X will be where the real fun is at, packing a tri-motor powertrain that will be shared with the R2 and sees two electric motors situated on the rear axle and a single motor up front. Rivian hasn't announced power outputs, but the larger R1T and R1S models have a tri-motor setup with a combined 850 horsepower and 1,103 pound-feet of torque. Even if the R3 receives just half of this power output, with a lower vehicle weight, it would deliver exciting performance. Although there's still a while for the R3 and R3X to arrive, they should be available by early 2027 at the latest. Rivian has said that the dynamic R3X will hit the road first. We expect the R3 to become the most affordable Rivian, with a starting price of around $37,000, while the R3X will cost around $10,000 more, putting its price closer to the mid-tier R2 that's expected to launch for the 2026 model year.